along the way I managed to bust the driver. So, time for another update on the HiFiMan HE400se. As you can see, I've been through various prototypes, refining the design. I also took the time to learn flow simulation in SolidWorks so I could get an idea of how the different profiles of these blades and stuff would affect the airflow and pressure and that kind of thing. Just trying to get super smooth airflow, just to let the driver breathe as effectively as possible. But also I've designed these little fins which smooth the airflow also to give the magnets a little bit more support. I'm not sure if they need it, but when we added some weight to them, that did seem to improve the bass response slightly, so basically stabilizing the driver as much as possible with these various protrusions that link into various bits of the driver, so the driver's held in super tightly, which will hopefully improve bass response. I've also done some designs with places to put the lead in. Still a little bit of tweaking and testing to do. A very kind person on the comments suggested that I add like a little turret here to put the socket in, which is a really good idea because it allowed me to kind of reduce the size of these things. I could get the diameter and the thickness down a bit because I didn't have to leave room for the socket. And I'm nearly there. This is basically just about the final design before we go into the final kind of reassembly and testing. So I thought I'd just show you where I'm at, because unfortunately our 3D printer's tied up doing something else at the moment, so I can't quite finish this off. But hopefully next week I'll finally do it. I've got an extra pair of these and we can put them together. I managed to bust the driver. Don't know if you can see that there, but I stuck a screwdriver through the diaphragm, so that's broken. I have got another pair that I was going to use for testing, so I'm going to probably buy another pair just in case. But I've printed this one in white just so you can get an idea of the kind of design a little bit better when it shows up. I'll just pop that in there. So you can see on this side you've got 5 screw holes which are going to screw through the whole thing, sandwich it together in there nice and tightly. These, as I said, these will smooth out the air and give a bit more support to the driver on both sides. I've moved the driver back away from the ear a bit, which should hopefully give better sound staging. Yeah, generally getting the driver a little bit further away from the ear seems to improve sound staging. So that's what I've done. So you've got quite a big kind of horn type design on this that gets it away from the ear. I've designed this to take these beautiful Fischer connectors because they click in. Oh, they're super sexy. They're used on like F1 cars and stuff. I'm gonna redesign this to take Reen ones as well, so that when you print it, if you want to print these off at home, you can get the connectors cheaply, because these I think are about 40 quid each and 40 quid for the other things. They cost half as much as the headphones, but I bought a load in for a project and I've been really keen to use them on something, so I thought as I'm redesigning these. So yeah, so as you can see, it's a pretty sexy looking package. So the cable's going to come out of here so it doesn't get all up in your shoulder. I think, you know, they look pretty sexy. They might need to go in a different colour. I've also designed them to take like aerodynamic sized pads, because there's loads of them out there. I think these are 90mm pads. There's loads of different ones that we have here, because a lot of the tuning will end up being done with pads, and also these ones are fully open. They don't have a mesh in there. It's going to kind of suit the design. So once these are in, we can try pad rolling just to tweak the sound a little bit further. Yes, that's where we're at. I'm pretty excited. These are looking pretty good. A bit sexier than the original HE400s. I've got a few final tweaks that I've made to the design that makes printing them a little bit easier, just makes the support material come out a bit nicer, but that's basically how they're going to look. But obviously if you've got any final suggestions before I print off the final one, stick them in the comments and I will I'll take that into consideration. If you've got some good ideas, I'll definitely incorporate that into the final design. But there you go, let me know what you think. I think it looks pretty sexy, and according to the flow simulations I've done, it should smooth the airflow. You should get pretty straight into the ear hole, with a few bits coming off and bouncing out, which will hopefully make it sound a bit more like it's coming from speakers in the room rather than inside your head. That's the theory. I don't know. I've still got a bit of testing to do. As I said, I've got a second pair of these without a busted driver, and I'm going to be wearing those over the next couple of days just so I can get really used to the sound signature So then when we reassemble these with the new parts, I'll have a really good idea of whether this has worked or not. Whether it does make it sound more, whether it does give it a bigger sound stage or not, as well as the increased bass. It looks sexy. I'm pleased with the design. Obviously, I've designed it, so I'm probably a bit biased. I'd be really interested to know what you think and whether you like the look of it. Imagine it in a nicer colour. Obviously, I've done it in white just so you can kind of see the profiles and stuff. As you can see, when I was designing it, like this section here is pretty complex, just because there's a lot of nooks and crannies in the driver, and I'm trying to support it wherever I can. Just to give it the most rigidity I possibly can in there. And I have left these grooves here where you can stick 3mm lead. If we want to add lead, I'll do a bit of testing because that might still be a thing. Yeah, so pretty cool. We are. Let me give me a moment. Let me take you upstairs and show you what's going on. Oh, sorry, we're just on that internal mic on the GoPro type thing, but we are building like a Voron 2.4 on steroids. This thing's insane. It's going to be an insane 3D printer. We've got all the parts that are supposed to be 3D printed, machined from aluminium. Got like a super flat machined base, which is super heavy duty in there for super flatness. It's got 7 stepper motors to control everything. It's going to be an absolute beast. So we'll mean that if you don't want to print these yourself, we will be able to 3D print and have the parts for sale in our shop, and they'll be a decent quality. This is going to be about as good as you can get from an FDM printer, so they should be super good quality. Right, so there you go. So it's looking pretty sexy, and this is the headband I found off AliExpress, which is hopefully gonna fit that. And as you can see, that's a nice looking bit of kit. That's gonna, it's gonna look good. It's gonna look good. It's gonna sound good. I can tell. So yeah, hopefully once this is done, I'm gonna put the files up so you can print these yourself. We're gonna finish our printer off, and then we'll have like a premiumly printed, really nicely printed version on our fancy new printer. These, once I've got it all sorted, just to make sure that they're fine, I want to test them first. I'll put links to where you can buy those, and if this is a very popular project, we might order a big batch of these in, because I think these are about 80 quid if you buy them off AliExpress, but I know that we can probably get them for 40 or 50 quid if we order a big batch, and then we could sell it as like a DIY kit. So you'd be looking at 70 quid plus 150, so maybe 220. Like if we do these in a big batch, 220 for that. And then obviously you're gonna have to make your own cables. Our cables are relatively pricey, but I think they're worth it. But a lot of work goes into them. But you can make your own cable. But if you want one of our braided cables, which we're gonna probably make next week, they're probably going to be 80 quid-ish. But these are going to be pretty sexy, I reckon. It's looking pretty good. I'm hoping these will sound really good. We're going to do a final bit of tweaking, try a few different kinds of pads, that kind of stuff. So any suggestions before the final design gets printed, let me know, because our printer's going to be tied up for maybe a week printing parts for other stuff. That'll give me time to change that. If there's something about the design that you reckon I could change that I haven't noticed. Yeah, then hopefully, so in a week, we can finally put them together, make a sexy cable, and actually have a listen to these bad boys. Because, when I stuck a screwdriver through the thing, I nearly cried. I was very upset. Yeah, basically I put them in a thing that was too tight, and I couldn't get the driver out, and I was trying to poke it out, and slipped, and just stuck it straight through the diaphragm. So that's a ruined one. So if anyone knows where I can buy replacement drivers, cheaper than buying a whole new pair of headphones, let me know, because I'll probably stock up on a few while we're doing testing. Obviously, like and subscribe, because we've got some more exciting projects, but it's all very expensive, and it'd be really nice if I could get a little bit of that YouTube money. So yeah, more people watch, the better. Alright, have a good one.